at school, you had to buy something. Let us assume you had 20 naira with you, but then what you want to buy and maybe eat is 15 naira. And so you paid for what you bought, gave the seller 20 naira. What you bought, the cost is 15 naira. Now, the seller gives you back 5 naira. One can ask, why did the seller give you 5 naira back? How did the seller know that, okay, you are supposed to get 5 naira back? Of course, we call that your change. You are welcome to our mathematics class today as I take you through basic arithmetic part 2. And in this part 2, I'll be teaching you subtraction. We are going to start first by getting to know what subtraction is. And then we would look at the secrets we need, things you need to be thinking about when you are dealing with subtraction. And of course, I will try as much as I can to give you examples in real life where the knowledge of subtraction, is required. What is subtraction? Now, subtraction is also known as minus, or we can call it difference. So when you hear either minus or you hear difference, you are referring to subtraction. And it simply means to remove from, to take away from. Alright? Now you are removing something from another thing. You are taking away something from another thing. That is what subtraction is. Going back to our example, the example of you trying to buy something, you paid 20 naira and then the seller gives you back 5 naira. You see, it's as if the seller took 15 naira away. The seller removed 15 naira from the 20 naira you gave to him or her and then gave you back 5 naira as your change. So subtraction simply means to remove from, to take away from something. What is the secrets? The things you need to know when dealing with subtraction. As someone learning subtraction, what are the things you need to know? Because of course it is not just things about 20 naira minus 15 naira that we are going to be solving here. We'll be dealing with larger numbers, okay? Now, secret number 1, place values again. It's important for you to have the idea of place values because when you have a problem on subtraction, it's expected you arrange these numbers, okay, according to their place values so as to carry out your subtraction. Secret number 2. You are done arranging these numbers under their correct place values. You now want to subtract. Of course, you know you always start from the unit place value. That is for whole numbers, alright? We are still going to treat that of decimal number subtraction technique. But now, let us assume you are dealing with whole numbers because that's where we are going to start from first. And now you start with unit. Good. Secret number 2 is telling us this. When you start working your subtraction under any given place value, if you observe, if you notice that in the place value you want to deal with, what you are saying is smaller number minus bigger number. Secret number 2 is telling you that that is not possible. Are you getting me right? Subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number is not possible. Yeah, at this point we say that it is not possible. So what are you expected to do? Add 10 to the smaller number and reduce the higher place value on its left hand side by 1. This is grammar. Let us use mathematics to interpret this. But I want to say this quickly. When I say add 10 to the smaller number, one may ask, where did the 10 come from? Remember when I introduced basic arithmetics, I told you that all our calculation under these basic arithmetics, when we are dealing with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, the numbers are going to be in base 10. And I told you my reason for that. Because there is this topic in mathematics also we call number-based system, where we now learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division in order basis, which is not base 10. So it is important for you to know what you actually do. And in this video lesson, I've decided to tell you what you do whenever you have a case like this under subtraction. A quick example to help you understand this. Just imagine that I am doing 31 minus, let us say 15. 31 minus 15. Now, if you look at the unit place value, what I have is 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5. That is the same as subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number. Here we are removing 5 from this smaller number 1. It is not possible. That is what secret number 2 is telling you. That does not mean that you cannot do that subtraction. There is something you have to do there. And what is that? You need to add 10 to this smaller place value. Add 10 to this smaller number rather. You need to add 10 to this smaller number. Is that okay? That 10 is the base in which the calculation is being done. Remember I told you all these numbers are in base 10, in base 10. Are you following, right? So, we are going to add 10 to this 1. If you have the knowledge of subtraction before, what we usually do is borrow 1 from this and attach it here. Some people will tell you and add it here. That borrow 1 and add, that statement and add is really very wrong. It is even better you say borrow 1 from here and attach it here. Then they will tell you get 11 from there. If you attach 1 to this, you get 11. Then you do 11 minus 5. But that is not the real mathematics. I'm sorry that I have to introduce the real mathematics now. It's not too big for you to understand it. And so I have to tell you so that you know the right thing. Because this calculation is done in base 10. What you are doing is simple. You are removing something from here and adding here. And what you are removing to add to this smaller number is the base in which the calculation is being done, which is base 10. So what I'm going to do here is to come and add 10. So let me say plus 10. Plus 10. Is that okay? And that is how we get our 11, because 1 plus 10 will give you 11. When you do that, this number, because I told you to reduce the higher place value on its left hand side by 1. As I've done this, I'm going to reduce this 3 by 1. And if you reduce 3 by 1, it's like removing 1. Are you getting? So it will become 2. To become 2. So this is the case where you are subtracting a bigger number from a smaller one. This is what you have to do. So 10 plus 1 gives us 11. 11 minus 5 will now be what? 6. And then this is 2 now. 2 minus 1 will now give us 1. Which means that 31 minus 15, the answer is what? 16. So that is what secret number 2 is telling us. When you are doing your subtraction under any place value, if you have a smaller number minus a bigger number, please, that really cannot be possible. So what you do, add 10 to that smaller number under that place value you are working on. Are you following? When you add 10, the place value on its left hand side, the number that is there, reduce that number by 1. Then you carry out a subtraction. Alright, having said that, please take note of this. Whenever you hear the statement, subtract x from y, how do we write it in mathematics? Subtract x from y. We write it as y minus x. That is the meaning of that statement. Subtract x from y. It means you are removing x from inside y. So it's going to be y, you pull out x from it. And that is y minus x. So take note of that. When you hear subtract x from y, don't go and do x minus y. The correct thing is y minus x. If the statement was subtract y from x, then it will not become x minus y. But like I wrote here on the board, subtract x from y is written as y minus x. Let us check as a quick example. If I tell you to subtract 3 from 7, it's going to be 7 minus 3. That is how you write it. But if you hear subtract 7 from 3, it means you're going to do 3 minus 7. Does that make sense? Like this example I showed you here, 31 minus 15, simply means subtract 15 from 31. I hope this is quite clear, right? If you have any challenge with this, you're confused, you can replay and rewatch the video again. Are you following, right, to get the idea? You can also choose to send your question across and you get a response to answer your question. Now, there are a lot of things we do in life that have to do with subtraction. Are you following, right? If I say that, okay, you have 30 naira and then you removed 20 naira from it, that is subtraction. Are you following? If I say that, okay, you should go and buy something, let's say buy 10 sweets, and then out of the 10 sweets, I'm telling you to give 7 sweets to your friend. Give 7 sweets to your friend. That is subtraction, because out of the 10 sweets, you are removing 7 from it. Does that make sense? So it's subtraction. Think about this situation as well. So let us assume that you're selling something. Let's say you're selling oranges, and then you have 25 oranges, and then you sold out, let's say 13 oranges from them, okay? You have 25 oranges, you sold 13 oranges from it. Because you sold, you've taken away the 13 oranges. You've removed the 13 oranges. That is a subtraction problem. Think about this as well. Let us assume that the distance from where I am to where you are is 40 kilometers. Is that okay? That is the distance from my position now to where you are is 40 kilometers. It's an example. Now, I started moving from this point where I am. I walked from here to this place. Are you getting me right? Remember, I've not gotten to you. I walked from here to this place. The distance between where I am and where you are is 40 kilometers. Out of that, I took a movement. I walked from here to this place. Let us assume that the distance I covered is 10 kilometers. I now ask you, how many kilometers is left for me to get to you? But out of the 40 kilometers, I have taken away 10. I have removed 10 because I've already walked 10. How many will be left? That is still subtraction problem. Of course, that will be 30 left. And I got that 30 from 40 minus 30. Think about this example again. Let us assume that you have 10 sweets. And then your friend has, let's say, 17 sweets. And I'm asking you, by how many sweets is your friend's sweet greater than your own? Are you following, right? Your friend has 17. You have 10. Definitely, you know that the one your friend has, the number of sweets he has is more than your own. So by how many? By how many? All right, are the sweets greater than your own? That is also a subtraction problem. So there are a lot of cases in which we deal with subtraction. And of course, we're going to pick questions now and see how we solve that. We now have our very first 2 questions here on the board. So let us see how we solve that. Question number 1, we are asked, what is the positive difference between 234,214 and 88,902? Let us solve that before we move on to question number 2. Solution. Question 1, I'm going to be fast about this. We've already learned a lot what we need to do to solve problems and subtraction. Okay, so I would write the place value for this first question. We are to find a positive difference. Positive difference. Now I told you that difference means subtraction. Positive difference is telling you subtract. Now the final answer should be positive. Are you getting me? That's all. Positive means a plus number, right? But the difference is telling us that in solving this, we need to do subtraction. Now, the bigger number here is 234,214, and this is in hundreds of thousands. So writing out the place value, I will have hundreds of thousand, tens of thousand, thousand, hundred, tens, and unit. Now let us fix up the digit under the correct place value. Starting with this, the bigger one will come first. So 4 under unit, 1 under tens. Then under hundreds, we're going to have 2. Under thousand, we will have 4. Under tens of thousand, 3. And then hundreds of thousand, we have 2. Now put your subtraction sign. Please remember to do that. If you don't put your subtraction sign, I will assume I don't know the basic operation you're carrying out. Your teacher will assume that he or she does not know what you are doing, whether it is subtraction, addition, multiplication, or division. So remember to put the mathematical sign, the operation. Are you following, right? The sign of the operation you're doing. And then we have 88,902. So fixing them up under the place value, we're going to have 20. Then this is 9 under 100, 8 under 1,000, the second 8 under tens of thousand. Let us now do the subtraction. I'll draw this line so as to write my answer below. We'll start with units, the smallest place value here. 4 minus 2 is going to give us 2, so I'll record 2 there. Then under tens, we have 1 minus 0, it's going to give us 1. Come to hundreds, we have 2 minus 9. 2 minus 9. You are removing a bigger number from a smaller one. It's not possible, we said, right? So you need to do something. You are going to add 10 to this smaller number. You know, this subtraction is done in base 10. I said this before now. So I will come and then add plus 10 to this 2. Alright? And if you do 10 plus 2, you are going to get 12. Then 12 minus 9, anything it gives to you, write the answer here. Now, because you added 10 to this 100 place value, this 2, it will reduce this 1000 place value by 1. So this 4 will now become 3. So it's just like removing 1 from here. But when you are adding it to this smaller number, what you are adding is 10. That thing you removed is a bundle, base 10. Because you know, normally when you are doing your counting, what we know generally, naturally, are you following, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you move to 12, 13, 14, 15, it's as if you are still repeating your 1, 2, 3. We count in tens. That is the idea. That is the point. And because our counting generally is in tens, that is why you are adding 10. What you are removing from here is a bundle of 10 to add to the smaller number. Are you getting me right? Good. Now, 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. So I'll record 3 here. Like I said, this will reduce by 1. So you get 3. Now 3 minus 8, again, is not possible. So what do? Add 10 to this 3. So I'll do plus 10, plus 10. And of course, that will reduce these tens of thousand place value to 2. To reduce it from 3 to 2. Now, 10 plus 3 is 13. 13 minus 8 is 5. So you record 5 here. Then you move on to the tens of thousand place value. 2 minus 8. Again, it's not possible. Small number minus big number. And so I'm going to add 10 again to this, so plus 10. If you add 10 to this 2, you get 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. You record 4. Now, you know that will reduce this 2 to 1. You know that. So, you have this now, 1 minus nothing. There is invisible 0 here. Empty place value. Fill it with 0. But of course, I told you if you are dealing with whole numbers, it's not necessary. So just simply bring down your 1. That's the point, okay? Bring down your 1. And of course, you see that's the answer. The positive difference between 234,214 and 88,902 is equal to 145,312. Answer. You can do the conclusion below yourself. Okay? I've just read the conclusion. Therefore, the positive difference between this number and this number is equal to this number. Let's move on to question number 2. However, if you have any problem with this solution to question 1, you can replay and watch this video part. You know, you can go back. I follow it, right? Double tap and the thing will take you backward in this Telegram channel, okay? And you can rewatch this. But after rewatching, if you still have any problem, you don't understand, send your question across. You know how to do that and you get your response. Let's move on to question number 2. The question said, subtract 418,023 from 999,818. Subtract this number from this one. I told you the meaning of that. It means we're going to do 999,818 minus 418,023. I will solve this question without writing their place values. Like I've always said, you don't really need writing out their place values to deal with this. I always do this so that you see and appreciate the importance of place values. And of course, when you are just learning this from beginning, you need to ensure you get used to place values very well. So here I am going to write 999,818 first. So I have 999,000, then 818. Good. Minus 418,023. So let us do the subtraction now and see. Starting with the unit number, we have 8 minus 3. And of course, 8 minus 3 will give us 5. I'll record 5. Next, we have 1 minus 2. That is under tens. 1 minus 2, smaller number minus bigger number is not possible. So what do? Add 10 to this 1. So this is going to be plus 10. And then it will reduce this 8 to 7. 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 minus 2 will give us 9. So I'll record 9 here. Now this is 7 minus 0, which will give us 7. Moving on to the thousand place value, we have 9 minus 8. And 9 minus 8 is going to give us 1. And then we have 9 minus 1 under the tens of thousand, which is going to give us 8. Finally, hundreds of thousand place value there. 9 minus 4 is 5. So you record your 5. And this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer. So I can conclude, therefore, 999,818 minus 418,023 is equal to 581,795. Let us move on to question number 3. In our third and fourth questions, we have this problem to solve, okay? We're going to take them one after the other as usual. Question number 3. By how much is 1,304,950 naira greater than 744,532? So you see we have two different amounts of money. One is in millions, the other is in hundreds of thousands. Are you getting? This one is in million, 1,304,950. This one is in hundreds of thousands, 744,532. Clearly, one of the amount of money is bigger than the other one. The question now is, by how much is this one in million bigger than this one in hundreds of thousands? For us to get a value of this, all we need to do is to carry out subtraction. Simply remove this 744,532 from this 1,304,950. Whatever that is left is the amount by which this is greater than this. And so I'm going to solve this question. Solution number 3. I'm not going to write the place values. I won't. This is the bigger number, so I'll write it first. 1,000,000 and then 304,304. And then we have 950. I am going to subtract minus 744,532. So enter them according to their place value this year. Under units, then 3 will come under tens, 5 under hundreds. This 400,000, the second 4 under tens of thousand, 7 will come under hundreds of thousand. And so when you do your subtraction from the unit part, 0 minus 2 is not possible. 0 is a smaller digit compared to 2. So what do? We are going to add 10 to this 0. So this is plus 10, and then we reduce this tens number to reduce to 4. Okay, so we have 10 plus 0 is 10, so minus 2 will give us 8. 10 minus 2 is 8. And then coming over here, this is 4. 4 minus 3 will give us 1. This is 9. I'm under the place value of 100 now, okay? 9 minus 5 is 4. So record 4. We'll go to 1,000. We have 4 minus 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. If you have a number and you remove the same number from it, you're going to get 0. It's just like you have 4 oranges. And they say, okay, remove 4 oranges from the number you have. If you take away the 4 oranges, you will not have any orange again, which is 0. So have 0 here. Come to this place value of tens of thousands. This is 0 minus 4. It is not possible. So I'm going to add 10 to it plus 10. And then reduce this digit, this next place value to 2. So this becomes 2. And of course, doing the subtraction here, 10 minus 4. This is 10 plus 0, which is 10. Subtract 4 from it, you're going to get 6. Move on to the hundreds of thousand place value. This is 2 minus 7. It is not possible. You have a smaller number, so once again, you're going to add 10 to it, plus 10. 10 plus 2 will give us 12. Of course, once you do that, you reduce this one by 1, so this becomes 0. So this is 10 plus 2, which is 12. 12 minus 7 will give us 5. So I'm going to write 5 here. Alright, this is 0. It's nothing. This is 0. So just forget about it. No need of writing 0 here. Are you following, right? Forget it. So we are done. I'm going to put naira here. I'm going to put naira. So this is my answer. This is my answer. I want you to do the conclusion yourself. How do you go with the conclusion? By how much is this greater than this? So you simply say 1,304,950 is greater than 744,532 naira by this amount, 560,418 naira. Let's move on to question number 4. In question number 4, we have that in 2018, all right, in the year 2018, the population of a country is 140,258,160. And then in the year 2022, the population became 120,139,071 because some people had left the country to another country. How many people left the country? This is how you get to know the number of people that maybe travels from a country to another one. If you go to any country, you have what we call the immigration office. So they have the number of people who come to get passports to travel out of the country to another one. So they can do their minors to know how many people left the country. You see? So all these things you're learning, they are very important. They are things we use in real life. Okay, so we want to know the number of people that left the country. Just like remove them from the country. Okay? You remove them from the country. And removing is subtraction. How would we get it? It's simple. We'll get a total population which is 140,258,160. We will subtract the number that is left, which is 120,139,071. Whatever we'll get is the number of people that left the country. So I'll start with this. Again, I will solve without place value. Or should I solve with place value? Okay, let me do that for you. This is in hundreds of million already. So I'm going to have HM, hundreds of million. After that, I'll reduce it to 10 million. Then we have million. Come down to hundreds of thousand. Go to tens of thousand. We have thousand, then hundred, tens, and units. Then of course, I'm going to fill up the digits under their place values. Let's do that quickly. So you see, it is always good to start entering your digit from the unit place value so as to avoid making mistakes. And so I'm going to record this next one, 120,139,071, again from the unit place value. So let us start our subtraction from the unit place value. We have 0 minus 1. It is not possible, so what do? I'm going to add 10 to this place value, so plus 10. 10 plus 0 is 10, minus 1 will give us 9. So I'm going to record 9 here. Of course, you know this 10 that you added here will reduce this to 5. So this is 5. And then looking at the 5, you have 5 minus 7. It is not possible. So you're going to add plus 10 to it. Okay, so let me do that. 10 plus 5 will give us 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. So I'll record 8 here. This is 1 minus 0. Bring down your 1. This is 8 minus 9. It is not possible. 8 minus 9 is not possible, so you are going to add plus 10 to this 8 plus 10, because that will reduce this 5 to 4. 10 plus 8 is 18. 18 minus 9 will give us 9. Okay? And then you come to tens of thousand. This is 4 minus 3. You're going to get 1. This will give us 2 minus 1. We're going to get 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. Then 1 minus 1 is 0. Forget about it. Is that okay? Alright. So that's the answer. We can do our conclusion. The conclusion will come from here. We are looking for the number of people that left the country. So simple. The number of people who left the country is, we have this. This is 20,119,189. So that's the number of people who left the country. Wow, that's massive. Only this country knows why people are just flying away from it. Okay, so we are done with all about subtraction of whole numbers. I'll be taking you through now in our next class to subtraction of decimal numbers.